Welcome back to the channel and welcome to day 8.
Day 8.
Day 8, the final day of our Car Care Tech Week.
Day 8?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that exciting, but it's exciting for us.
You know what? It's exciting for me. It's exciting for me. Although it is a little bittersweet. We're to the end of the series, but we're also to the end of your trip. So that part of it isn't so exciting for me. But, we do this once a year. Keith visits me.
Yep.
I visit Keith every other year. And so last year I was in Michigan. This year Keith is here. And then next year, of course, I'll go back to Michigan. So what we covered during this week for episode 8 or the 8th day is the finishing touches, right? Which, how fitting, right? We already talked about it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to finish the episodes, right, or the series with the finishing touches.
Yeah.
What do we mean by finishing touches? Well, a lot of times I think these are the things that go undone, right? But it is your glass. It's your trim restoration, right? So taking that, gray, faded, whatever trim, making that black or whatever color it's supposed to be in. So restoring your trim. And then also dressing those tires because let's face it, nice, fresh dressed tires, whether you like a glossy or, semi-gloss or a matte finish, you can tell, right, that your tires have been dressed when you dress them. And it's that finishing touch.
Yeah. And I guess my observation about the finishing touches, specifically the gel and the product that we used for the plastic trim.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty easy. I mean, compared to everything else that we did, that was nothing.
Yeah.
That was nothing.
I think I had all 4 of my tires knocked out in 8 minutes, maybe 2 minutes a tire or something.
Yeah.
And we, we'll show you the tools that we used and we'll show you that process. And I think that's probably where the majority of our time is going to be spent. Not here in the studio, but out in the garage and in the driveway doing the work because, these are things that honestly I think are best illustrated with demonstrating versus talking about them.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a finishing touch on my Camaro that I don't think you did on yours. I kind of called an audible and just sort of invented this at the last minute, but it was meaningful for me.
Okay.
Which is, I did all the leather on the interior. Yep. We vacuumed. That was an earlier episode, but we did all these things and I had it nice. But then I looked at my dash and my radio buttons were just a little bit grimy, where my fingers over the years had been touching it, and my steering wheel. Right? Think of all the French fry grease and whatever over the years.
I never eat fries in the car, Keith.
Well,
never.
I don't blame you because it leaves a kind of a let's call it a biofilm. Something gets on. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know. You have this on your steering wheel, and I was sort of hesitant to touch it because I had memories from high school of working on my steering wheel, and it got super slippery.
Armor All. I bet you we armor-alled your steering wheel.
Back
we did it to mine too.
Yes.
We thought it was the thing to do.
That was not smart.
No, it was not the thing to do.
You kind of, because once it's on there, you got to just ride it out till it's grippable and normal again. That sucked.
Which usually means you've collected new
more French fry
debris.
So what I did is I grabbed the bottle of isopropyl alcohol, the diluted solution, the IPA. Because I had 2 products in mind. We had this, what was it called? The Easy Clean? Super Clean. Super Clean. Mm-hmm. Super Clean was pretty obvious to me that it's a degreaser. Like that will cut through, grimy finger grime.
Yep.
I knew that would work, but I didn't want to use it because it's just so explosive and foamy and splattery.
Yeah.
But I just spritzed on some of that isopropyl alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that did it. And so, and my steering wheel it actually is a little bit slippery, but I can tell it's not bad.
Yeah.
But it's clean.
You've probably brought it back to more of, like, when you buy a new car, the leather steering wheels are almost a little slick, right? I mean, there's a little, but they're new. Yeah. Right? So you've probably brought it somewhere in between that, like, new and, French fry grease feel to it. And, talking about the Super Clean, I think this might be why a lot of the pros, again, we're Joes, not pros, why a lot of the pros buy the super clean concentrate.
Oh.
And they dilute and mix it. One, they can adjust, they can have different dilution ratios for different jobs within the car, right?
Yeah.
But they may not like that foaming action that it does, how it comes out in the aerosol. I picked the aerosol because I think the smallest concentrate you can buy of that super clean is a gallon.
Yeah.
And it would make like, I don't know, 40 gallons or something crazy worth of, and I don't need, and it wasn't cheap. It's like $50-$60.
Well, it's super.
It's super, right?
It says right on the can.
It is super, right? But it's a lot of money for a lot of product that it would take me forever, literally forever. And I don't know what its shelf life is, if it would like last as long.
Don't ask questions like that.
As long as I would need it to for that. So what other observations before we jump into the garage, jump into the driveway, do you have that you want to share?
Yeah. So
or do you want to share some of these after the driveway and the garage? I mean,
yeah, let's share it after.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the garage, jump into the driveway, because we did a combination of both, just depending on if we had to hide from the sun, and we did. Not for us, right? We're sun gods, right? So we don't have to worry about that. But the car cleaning, some of those products do not want you to use them in direct sunlight, right?
Yeah.
Specifically the glass cleaner, the trim piece. I don't know if Super Clean has any warning about it, but or the letter cleaners or anything, but maybe.
There were lots of warnings on everything.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's our litigious society, probably. So, anyway, we're gonna.
Was I not supposed to drink the Super Clean? Was that a problem?
Well, that's why I poured a gallon of milk down your throat.
Oh, okay. I thought that was
so
another condition.
don't drink the Super Clean. Okay, we're just kidding around. But we'll jump into the driveway, jump into the garage, show you some of those products in use, and then we're going to come back here to the studio and talk about some additional observations and notes that Keith and I both have in terms of using these products, and if they're ones that you maybe potentially want to add to your arsenal, along with your buckets and soap and all of that.
All right, so Bruce and I have finished the ceramic coating for our paint surfaces, and now I'm going to move on to the glass, which my Camaro needs desperately. So for this, I'm going to use Stoner Invisible Glass Cleaner is the product I'm going to use, and a couple of special rags, not just a standard microfiber towel, but these are from the Rag Company, links down below. I'm going to use the Black Diamond weave pattern for the application, and I'm going to use this also from the Rag Company, a waffle weave to buff it out. So that's the next step. Generous. I want to be generous, but I don't want to get it on my paint either.
Yeah, you can spray that directly on your towel if you want as well, especially if you've just detailed.
Yeah.
And pro tip, right? Keith's going to do the top edge on the convertible. This is another benefit of the convertible, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the glass typically on a convertible, when you go to open the door, goes down just ever so slightly. Well, that's the pro tip on a regular car, that you lower your glass just a little bit to get that top part that normally is hidden by the window frame. This is part of Keith's plan to make sure that people don't subscribe. I was watching until the chime just wouldn't stop.
It's hard to get it perfect. And I feel like I want my glass to be perfect.
I think this battery died. I think this one's just trash now.
And pro tip, if you're cleaning glass, which I've just finished mine, if you have a convertible, put the top down. That actually makes things a lot easier.
Okay, so here's the final result using the wheel polish. Actually, it's not specifically for wheels. It's really the light metal polish. Good for chrome and aluminum, steel. So just giving you an idea, here's the results. I have not dressed the tires yet, so just look at the wheels themselves. They were pretty dirty to start with. I'm discovering just how bad they were after having to use the polish on it. So that is the end result. And really, it's just a mechanical effort type of product. You just use that to polish it in. And, it's really a polish, not a cleaner, but I was using it to kind of do a little bit of both. And that is the final result. We're going to address the trim now. So here's the product that we're going to be using. It is a plastic restore product called Torque Detail. It's one of many that are out there. It works pretty well. And so you've got a couple options. You can spray it directly onto the surface. Obviously, if you've just detailed your car, you're going to want to be really careful about that. But you can spray it also onto a microfiber cloth and wipe that in. The direct spray, I think, is going to yield kind of a deeper color and result, just because they do want you to let this dwell on the area for, say, 30 to 60 seconds and then buff it off. And so I'm going to do that where possible. There's going to be some areas where it's just too close to the paint. I don't want to get this onto the paint, and so I'll probably just put it on the microfiber cloth and wipe it. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to spray this, and I forgot it does have a lock mechanism, so you got to slide that down. Just spray this very gently onto the area. Now the good news is this has got a very accurate sprayer, so that's kind of a nice element of this. I'm going to wipe it across just to spread it evenly, but not rub too deep at this point. I think I'm going to put a second little coat on here. There we go. And again, I'm going to kind of wipe that in a little bit, and we'll let that dwell on that for a little bit. And then I'm going to go around and address all of the sides of the car that need to have that happen. All right, so here is the windshield tool. I know this looks a little odd, and actually I'm not super impressed, Keith, with the fit of this cloth. I thought maybe there'd be like some more, stretch, elastic, hold it tight on here factor to it. But what this is designed to do is basically be able to reach into the corners of your dashboard. So you can put it down and reach those hard to get spots. So I'm just going to spray some glass cleaner right on this. Again, this is that invisible glass cleaner. And we can use this to get all of those really hard to reach spots in your windshield. Especially these front corners, right? These are kind of the nemesis to man. At least man that cares about clean windshields. So there you go. That's how you reach those hard to reach spots in your windshield.
All right, so on the interior, leather seats. I've got leather seats. Bruce has leather seats. To be honest, I'm not sure if they're real leather or pleather. I don't think it matters. But I'm already on step 3, but I'll recap some of the products that I've been using. Step 1 was a leather cleaner. This is from Chemical Guys, colorless and odorless. Just kind of wiped it on with a microfiber cloth. Step 2 was also from Chemical Guys. I used a leather conditioner. Slightly different process for this. I used a microfiber pad and just applied it to the pad and then rubbed it in. So that was step 2, and this is to help make sure that it's soft and conditioned. Has vitamin E, I believe, in it. If it's good for your skin, it's good for the leather. To get your leather ready for the weather. And then the last step, which I'm about to start, is this 303 aerospace protectant. So this is to help keep, it's also good for vinyl, but it's also to keep, it's like a UV protection barrier to keep it nice longer.
We've reached the time where we're going to do the wheels. So I've got this zoomed in on the Adams Tire Pro, the hex grid. So this is designed to give you something to hold on to, and then apply the tire. And then this is the Meguiar's Endurance tire gel. So gloss product. This is, again, the Adams applicator. So hopefully the two don't fight together. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Adams applicator to put the tire gel around the outside of the tire. We're going to avoid the wheel as much as possible. I'm going to shake this a little bit, although I don't think it's something that tends to separate. I'm going to make a nice, you know what, I bet this is sealed inside, so let's just get this removed real quick. There it is. Thought they did that to me. So we'll get this going here. All right, now we're ready to go. So we're just going to put some gel on here. And we're going to kind of just work this again all the way around the tire. And early on, it's going to take a little bit of extra to get that applied. Again, I'm going to avoid hitting the top of the tread. And later, we'll probably want to move the car to access to where it's now touching the pavement. I don't know, I'm probably not putting on liberally enough paint, but you know, this is actually the first time I'm working with this. I've traditionally used a spray product, but this came highly recommended, so I figured I would give it a whirl. I'm always up for checking out some new tire dressings. I think tire dressing is one of the things that really ends up making the detail, right? There's just something about tires that are clean and shiny that, you know, for me, really call attention to the car. So there we go. There is a shine to it. You can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and dress the rest of the tires, and eventually I'll have to hit that spot that's touching the pavement. All right, so one of the things you can do to give your windshield some longer lasting protection, it'll actually be a little bit like using Rain-X, but it's different. Here's a little trick that I found on the internet. Again, I would love to take credit for this, but this was a tip that someone else used, is the Meguiar's Ultimate Quick Wax. So you just basically apply this to your glass and exterior only, okay? And I'm really only going to put it on the windshield and work this in just like you would a wax product anyway. So I'm just going to spread this across, and one thing I will tell you, this smells really good. So it's a pleasant to work with product from that standpoint. So I'm going to go make sure I've made it all the way around the perimeter, and then back and forth, up and down. I'm going to let that kind of glaze over if it's going to a little bit while I do the other side, and then I'll come back with a clean rag and buff that. So again, we're going to work it around the perimeter, and then once I've made that box, work side to side, getting it completely worked into all the areas of the windshield. That's looking good. And I'm going to go get a clean buffing towel. Okay, that should be sufficient. So now I'm just going to go ahead and remove any remnants of that wax product here. Again, working the entire area of the windshield. And while I'm up here, I'll let you know I did use the Torx plastic restore product in the cowling area around where the wipers go. And this is not dirt or debris on my windshield. That's actually a couple of chips that I have on the glass. So that's unfortunate. And there we go. So Keith talked about this product. It is the leather cleaner. Oops, I've got it on stream. I want this on spray. There we go. So I'm just going to work this leather cleaner into the leather. This first stage, what we're basically doing is just cleaning all of the leather surface of the car. And then as a second phase, Keith explained, we have a leather conditioner, basically designed to add some protection. That's particularly important with a convertible, right? Because convertibles really, you know, get exposed to those elements. There's a lot more sun exposure, especially if you drive with the top down a lot, which if you're not driving with the top down a lot with a convertible, why do you have a convertible? How did this leather product work? Was it pretty good?
Which one?
This leather conditioner?
Yeah, I think so. I noticed by the time I got to the protectant that there was some streakiness to it. And it made me think, God, should I have been more careful? Like it's a wax or a polish, you know, and I didn't buff it. Did I need to buff it? You know.
Right.
I was questioning.
Questioning yourself.
Yeah. But then the sealant kind of took care of it. Homogenized it.
Oh, wait a minute. Which are you talking about? The leather conditioner?
The conditioner. After I did the conditioner, I saw streaks.
Which protectant did you put on?
The aerospace.
Oh, okay. Is that good for interior? I thought that was for the hard surfaces, but did it say it was for both?
Yeah, it did say it was for both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it said for leather and.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I didn't do it for the dash.
Oh. Okay, well, I can tell we did a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, those finishing touches that, and Keith, I think you actually may have gotten more of the finishing touches actually done than I did.
Yeah, a lot of it was off camera, but
yeah, and I didn't get to the protection phase on the seats. I'll get that taken care of, you know, after the fact. It's not going to change the appearance today.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just going to be for long term, you know, maintenance. That protectant is going to help make it so that the next time I go to clean it, it's easier.
Yeah.
So, Keith, why don't you go ahead and talk about some more of your observations you have, and I'll throw in my comments as I see.
Yeah. Well, I think the first observation I had about the whole experience was just the idea that having a good eye for detail, actually you have to have good eyes. Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds obvious to say that, but I underestimated that going in, right? So there's a view that you can have, you know, from a foot away as you're working on something, and you can be as careful as you think you are possibly being.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible that we would do a step and there would be some product that we put on and buffed off, and we were very careful.
Mm-hmm.
And then how many times did it happen?
I know.
Like 20 times.
Yep. Grab the IPA. I got a spot.
We'd be move on to some other thing, and then we'd walk past a part of our car and go like, well, how the hell did we miss that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
exactly.
So.
And it was both of us. It wasn't just Keith. It wasn't just me. It was both of us on both cars.
Yeah.
And they're totally different colors. Yeah. Right. It's just you'll find more and more things. We should have had one of the kids there the entire time we were cleaning and use their eyes.
They would have found stuff all the time. Yeah. So that was kind of one observation. My greatest happy moment, mm-hmm. I would say, was definitely using the orbital polisher with the compound, with the yellow pad, and just like one or two passes, and this spot that's been bothering me on the hood of my car for years, mm-hmm. just gone like that. That was magical. That was my favorite. And then I'd say my least favorite, my zonk, I'm going to zonk something, is I have these WeatherTech floor mats.
Yeah, yep.
So they're plastic, they're molded. I like them. I'm glad I bought them.
Yep.
Right, because my carpet cleaning was simple, because my carpet's in pretty good shape because of these car mats.
Yeah,
so I'm not trashing WeatherTech car mats. But the cleaning process was not good for them, what I did. So I used the drill brush, right? It was a relatively stiff brush mm-hmm. on a power drill.
Yep. On
WeatherTech car mats, it scuffs them.
Yeah.
It scuffs them, and they went from being black to some kind of dusty brown. And, you know, we have these plastic restoring products
mm-hmm.
that I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. But then I thought, you know what? A, I guess I don't really care that much.
Mm-hmm.
B, I don't want them to be slippery at any cost.
Right.
Like, I cannot tolerate the idea of my floor mats being slippery.
Right. Well, and that's a good point, because there's actually I'm glad you didn't decide to wing it.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a warning on the Torx. That's one of the products you saw in the video that we use. The Torx says, do not use on floor mats.
Yeah. Well, right. So I made the right decision.
You did make the right decision.
Yeah. But my WeatherTech floor mats are kind of jacked up. So So that was my.
So that's a don't do this.
Don't do that.
Don't do this.
Yes.
And again, Keith is willing to roll the dice a little bit, right? And gamble and figure
just
out
formats,
right? Well, and figure out, hey, is this because if it had worked, we get to declare you a genius.
That's right.
Right? It's like
right.
no one had ever thought of doing that.
Yeah.
You probably could use a brush, but it probably had to be a softer brush. And that maybe down the road we'll do a follow up and hey, how do we fix the WeatherTech, right? One, how do we do a good cleaning job on them, and then
I'm willing to bet that on WeatherTech's website
they have a product.
They probably have a product. So.
It's probably only $100 or so too.
Yeah.
WeatherTech is great. I have WeatherTech mats in my Taurus.
Okay.
Not in the Mustang. The Mustang has cloth ones.
Yeah.
And they came with the car, so I'm glad I didn't have to buy them.
Yeah.
They are not inexpensive, but they are also built.
Yeah.
I mean, they fit and they do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Not to make this a WeatherTech commercial. We're not sponsored by them. Keith bought his WeatherTech mats.
Yes.
Not that we're not open to it, WeatherTech, but
Yeah.
he bought his mats. Okay.
Yeah.
So this was never going to be about everything being perfect.
Yeah.
Some of this journey on the Car Tech Week was really about us learning and sharing our learning experience with everyone here.
Yeah.
Car Tech, or excuse me, the WeatherTech mats. We'll get back to you on that because I need to
scheme for those later.
I think a big thing we probably could have done is pulled out the pressure washer on those.
Yeah.
And pressure
I'm
wash
sure
them.
water. Yeah. Pressure. Yeah. That was probably the right call.
But we were
or
already...
a steamer, a steam gun.
Oh yeah.
That probably would have been good too.
But we were past that stage, right? And I don't have a steam gun, right?
Yeah.
I
do.
Do you?
Yeah. Not
Well,
here.
Maybe put a comment right down below, and
Someone out there
maybe
knows how to do it.
maybe Keith will. No, I'm saying maybe Keith will pull out the steamer and see what happens on the WeatherTech. But you're gonna have to comment.
Yeah.
To get them off the dime.
Or else you get nothing.
You get nothing, right? You'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what else would you like to share in terms of the experience?
Yeah, I guess my only other observation or comment maybe is that convertibles.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool having a convertible. I mean, obviously I bought a convertible because I wanted one and I like it. Nothing wrong with that. But there are good and bad. Obviously the bad is, holy cow, there's a lot of dirt that gets in your cabin when you have a convertible.
The inside.
That kind of goes without saying.
Yes.
You're signing up for a lot of work there. But cleaning is also easier with a convertible. I mean, just crawling in and out of the back seat of a Mustang or a Camaro, that's not simple. But with a convertible, not a problem.
Well, if you're a yoga master, actually, it's pretty simple. But
for oldies like us.
But if we either one of us tried downward dog, I think we'd be stuck in downward dog forever.
And I kind of also had these thoughts when we were doing the polishing on the paint that the hardest part to reach, again, old man complaints, kind of this Camaro and the Mustang, both the same way, gigantic hoods for the gigantic engines, and that's part of the look. Also the hardest to reach, right?
Yes.
To really polish the middle of those hoods.
Yep.
Well, with a convertible, you don't have a hard top roof, so you don't have to do that.
That's one hard to reach area that you eliminate, right?
Not a problem.
So easy access to the environment. Something that I noticed, you want to have a couple of polishing rags around, and the good news is doing the trim after you've already done a ceramic coating, or if you want to do graphene. And again, all of our stuff is DIY, right? Do it yourself, not pro stuff. But the nice thing about it is, like I'd spray, the molding area where the windshield wipers are, right? So there's some black plastic in most cars down in that area. Well, it weathers really badly because of its location, right? Its location, its exposure. It's beaten down on it all the time. But inevitably, as much as I tried to even spray stuff on the cloth, but I found spraying the Torx directly on the plastic gave you a better result because you could let it dwell on there and then wipe it up. Inevitably, what I found though is there'd be some overspray under the paint. Well, with the ceramic coating, I could just have a clean
Yeah.
buffing rag or, microfiber cloth and just wipe that up and boom, it was gone. And actually Torch says it's safe on paint if you, if you did it. So just having an extra cleaning cloth or polishing cloth around so that your little overspray there can get, cleaned up is kind of a beneficial thing. It made things kind of quick. And where I started to panic, I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And don't skip. I think the Torx is a worthwhile purchase. I think on both of our cars.
Easy.
It's easy and gave great results. Like that whole boot area around where your convertible top was. I mean, again, on a convertible, if your top's down a lot, that takes a beating.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Both of our cars.
Yeah.
That was in
and
tough
what
shape.
You're describing when you say the boot, for those who don't have convertibles, so the top, when you retract it, there's a hard plastic piece kind of on the, let's call it the shoulders of the vehicle, kind of above where your rear tires are, next to where the convertible top goes in to your vehicle. There's some very large plastic pieces.
Flat, and they're flat surfaces mostly, and they're just basically filling that space
quick.
And they're filling in that space between your back seats and your convertible top. So
well, that's it.
Yeah.
We made it. You made it.
You made it to
You're
the
still
end.
here. Thank you for joining us on our journey for 8 days a week for our Car Care Tech Week, and really appreciate it. Please subscribe, hit the bell.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
And Keith, thanks again for making your way down to Nebraska. Made this last 3 episodes, right? So we recorded some in studio and then, did some of the work. We did the lion's share of this work really while you were here. And Keith was here from a Tuesday evening through this is Sunday, and he's going to be taking off back from Michigan here today. Actually, he's only going to make it part way and then drive the rest of the way tomorrow. But put a comment in there. Thank Keith for working his tail off the entire time he was here. I'm sure he would have loved having his feet up on the chair reclined and just having a little drinky drink, but that was not in the cards. So anyway, you will see both Bruce and Keith on the next episode of Dad's Talk Tech.
One thing that's very important when using these drill brushes on your tires, that you have to understand that these power drills, they usually can work in a clockwise mode or a counterclockwise mode. It's very important that you always use clockwise on your tires. Never use counterclockwise. Very important.